Do you ever feel like you're carrying a heavy backpack that you just can't seem to take off? Maybe it's filled with worries, expectations from others, or perhaps regrets about things you did or didn't do. As we journey through life, especially after reaching our 60s, it's easy for these invisible weights to accumulate, pressing down on us, making us feel tired, perhaps a little resentful, and sometimes, like we're not truly living the vibrant life we still could be. It's a painful reality for many, this feeling of being tethered to things that no longer serve us, things that drain our energy and dim our light. But what if there was a way to lighten that load significantly? What if the secret to living happier, feeling more energized, and potentially even living longer wasn't about adding more things to our lives, but rather about strategically letting go of some things? It sounds simple, maybe even too simple, but it's profoundly true. In this video, we're going to explore 4 specific things that, if you can find the courage and wisdom to release them after the age of 65, could unlock a level of peace, joy, and vitality you might not have thought possible. These aren't drastic overhauls. They're shifts in perspective and habits that can make a world of difference. It's about decluttering not your physical space, but your mental and emotional landscape. Watch right to the very end, because there's something we'll discuss that might truly surprise you with how much it impacts your daily happiness and even your physical well-being. Let's start with the first thing that many of us carry long past its expiration date, something that weighs heavily on our decisions and steals our peace. It's the relentless need for approval from others. Think about it. For decades, our lives have often revolved around pleasing parents, impressing teachers, meeting the expectations of bosses, raising children who hopefully approve of us, navigating friendships and social circles, and maybe even striving to live up to societal norms of what being successful or good means. We've spent a lifetime adjusting ourselves, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically, to fit into various boxes and gain validation. This pattern is deeply ingrained. And it's not necessarily a bad thing in our younger years when we're establishing ourselves and building connections. But as we enter our mid-60s and beyond, carrying this need becomes incredibly draining. Why? Because our energy levels naturally shift, and spending that precious energy constantly worrying about what other people think is simply no longer a wise investment. Furthermore, at this age, we've generally established who we are. We have a wealth of experience, perspective, and wisdom that young people are still accumulating. We've earned the right, perhaps more than ever before, to be authentically ourselves, without apology or constant adjustment. Holding on to the need for external validation means our happiness is constantly held hostage by the opinions, moods, and judgments of others. If someone doesn't approve, if they criticize, if they don't see things our way, we feel hurt, rejected, or inadequate. This isn't just an emotional burden. Chronic stress from seeking approval can impact our physical health, raising cortisol levels, affecting sleep, and contributing to a general sense of dis-ease. So, how do we begin to let this go? It starts with awareness. Notice when you're making a decision based on what someone else might think or say. Are you holding back from trying a new hobby because you worry about looking foolish? Are you saying yes to social engagements you don't genuinely want to attend just to avoid disappointing someone? Are you biting your tongue when you have a perfectly valid opinion for fear of rocking the boat? These are little signals that the need for approval is still running the show. The next step is gentle practice. Start small. Choose one area where you usually seek validation and deliberately choose your own preference instead. Maybe it's deciding what to wear without wondering if others will like it, or choosing where to go for lunch based purely on what you feel like eating. Practice saying no politely but firmly to an invitation that doesn't genuinely appeal to you. Explain that you're simplifying or prioritizing rest. You don't need an elaborate excuse. The more you practice prioritizing your own needs and desires, the easier it becomes. It's also helpful to remember that most people are far too focused on their own lives and worries to spend much time thinking critically about yours. What feels like intense scrutiny often isn't personal. It's just how others perceive the world through their own lens. Releasing the need for approval isn't about becoming selfish or uncaring. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by external opinions. Your value is inherent, built over a lifetime of experiences, challenges, and love. Embrace the freedom that comes from knowing this deeply. Think about someone you admire who seems truly comfortable in their own skin. Chances are, they aren't constantly looking over their shoulder, seeking nods of approval. They live according to their own values and desires. That freedom is incredibly attractive and inspiring. It's a type of authenticity that can only fully bloom when we stop trying to be what we think others want us to be. Letting go of this need frees up immense energy. Energy that can be directed towards activities that genuinely bring you joy. Towards deepening connections with people who truly appreciate you for who you are. Or simply towards enjoying quiet moments of peace without the background noise of worrying what someone somewhere might be thinking. It allows you to make choices that support your well-being, rather than choices that maintain a certain image. Imagine the relief of simply being yourself, without the constant performance. This release is not about isolating yourself. It's about building relationships based on genuine connection, not on playing a role. It allows you to be more present, more relaxed, and ultimately, happier. Now, moving on from the external pressures, there's another significant weight many of us carry internally, one that can steal joy from the present and peace from the future. This leads us to the second thing it's incredibly freeing to let go of after 65. This second thing is clinging tightly to past regrets or feeling burdened by unfulfilled expectations. Whether those expectations were our own or those placed upon us. Life doesn't always follow the script we imagine. There are choices we made that, looking back, we might wish we hadn't. Opportunities missed, words left unsaid, paths not taken. It's natural to reflect on these moments, especially as we have more time for introspection in our later years. However, when reflection turns into rumination, when the past becomes a source of persistent pain or a yardstick by which we constantly measure and find ourselves wanting, it becomes a heavy chain holding us back. Feeling regret about past decisions, or dwelling on what might have been if only things had turned out differently, is like constantly looking in the rearview mirror while trying to drive forward. It's unproductive and potentially dangerous. The past is immutable. We cannot go back and change a single event, a single word spoken, or a single decision made. All that exists is the present moment and the potential of the future. The weight of past regrets can manifest in various ways. It might be a constant replay of a difficult conversation, a feeling of shame about a perceived failure, or a lingering sadness about a relationship that ended. It can prevent us from fully engaging in our current lives, making us hesitant to try new things for fear of repeating past mistakes, or keeping us stuck in a cycle of negative self-talk. Similarly, carrying around unfulfilled expectations, whether they were dreams for our career, our family, or our personal achievements, can be a source of bitterness or disappointment. Perhaps life threw curveballs we couldn't have predicted, or perhaps we simply didn't achieve everything we set out to. Holding on to the idea that our lives should have looked different based on those expectations prevents us from appreciating the life we do have, with all its unique complexities, unexpected blessings, and lessons learned. Letting go of this involves a process of acceptance and forgiveness. First, acceptance of the past exactly as it was. It happened. It shaped you into the person you are today. With all your strengths and vulnerabilities, every experience, even the painful ones, contributed to your journey. Second, forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about condoning past wrongs committed by yourself or others. It's about releasing yourself from the emotional bondage of resentment, guilt, or anger. It's a gift you give yourself. How do you practice this release? One way is through reframing. Instead of seeing a past event as purely a mistake or failure, try to identify the lesson learned. What did that experience teach you about yourself? About others? About life? Focusing on the learning transforms a source of pain into a source of wisdom. Journaling can also be a powerful tool. Writing down your regrets or disappointments can help you process them and create distance from the intensity of the emotion. Another approach is mindfulness, simply observing the thoughts about the past without judgment. When a regretful thought arises, acknowledge it without getting swept away by it. Notice the feeling it evokes, but remind yourself that it is just a thought about something that is no longer happening. Gently bring your attention back to the present moment, to your breath, to the sounds around you, to whatever you are currently doing. It's also helpful to shift your focus from what didn't happen to what did. Despite the missed opportunities or different paths, what wonderful things have you experienced? What relationships have enriched your life? What challenges have you overcome? Practicing gratitude for the richness and complexity of your actual life, rather than mourning an imagined one, is incredibly liberating. Letting go of past regrets and unfulfilled expectations isn't about forgetting or minimizing their impact. It's about deciding that they will no longer dictate your present or future happiness. It's about reclaiming your energy from the past and investing it in the here and now. This is particularly important after 65 as our time becomes even more precious. We have less energy to spend on things we cannot change, and more motivation, hopefully, to savor the moments we have left. Imagine the lightness you would feel if you weren't constantly dragging the weight of past disappointments behind you. It would be like dropping that heavy backpack we talked about earlier. You could walk taller, breathe easier, and see the world with clearer eyes, ready to embrace the possibilities that still lie ahead. This release allows for a profound sense of peace and acceptance, making space for new joys and experiences. This leads us naturally into the third thing many of us need to release, which is related to how we view ourselves and our capabilities as we age. The third thing that can hold us back and diminish our joy after 65 is clinging to unrealistic expectations about aging itself, or feeling burdened by societal stereotypes about older adults. We live in a culture that often glorifies youth and presents aging as a process of inevitable decline, loss of vitality, and withdrawal from life. While there are undoubtedly physical and sometimes cognitive changes that occur as we age, holding on to a rigid, negative view of what it means to be older can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we expect to become frail, inactive, or irrelevant just because we've reached a certain age milestone, we might unconsciously limit ourselves. We might stop pursuing hobbies, avoid social interactions, or neglect our health. Not because we are genuinely incapable, but because we believe that's what's supposed to happen. This internal expectation, combined with external stereotypes, can create a powerful barrier to living a full and vibrant later life. Furthermore, unrealistic expectations about maintaining the exact same physical or mental capabilities we had in our 30s or 40s can lead to frustration, disappointment, and even a sense of failure. Our bodies change, our energy levels fluctuate, and our priorities shift. Trying to perform exactly as we did decades ago, or feeling like we're failing if we can't, is a recipe for unhappiness. Letting go of these unrealistic expectations and negative stereotypes involves embracing a more flexible, positive, and realistic view of aging. It's about recognizing that aging is a diverse and individual process, and that vitality, learning, growth, and joy are possible at any age. It's about shifting the focus from perceived losses to existing strengths and new possibilities. How do we do this? First, challenge those internal beliefs and external stereotypes. Are you telling yourself you're too old for something you'd love to try? Are you assuming you can't learn a new skill or participate in an activity because of your age? Question: These assumptions. Look for examples of older adults who are active, engaged, and happy. They are everywhere. Their stories can be incredibly inspiring and prove that age is often just a number when it comes to pursuing passions and contributing to the world. Second, adapt your expectations to your current reality with kindness and self-compassion. This doesn't mean giving up on staying active or healthy, but it means finding ways to do it that suit your current body and energy levels. Maybe you can't run a marathon anymore, but perhaps you can enjoy brisk walking, swimming, dancing, or gentle yoga. Maybe your memory isn't as sharp as it once was for recalling specific names instantly, but your ability to synthesize information and understand complex situations might be deeper than ever. Celebrate what you can do, the wisdom you have gained, and the unique perspective your years have given you. Instead of focusing on maintaining past levels of performance, focus on maintaining your overall well-being and finding joy in the present moment. Set new, realistic goals that are relevant to this stage of your life. Perhaps it's learning a new language, volunteering for a cause you care about, spending quality time with loved ones, or mastering a new craft. These goals are fulfilling and contribute to a sense of purpose, which is vital for happiness and longevity. It's also important to be mindful of the language we use, both internally and when speaking with others. About aging. Avoid self-deprecating remarks about your age or capabilities. Focus on the positive aspects of growing older, the freedom from certain responsibilities, the accumulated wisdom, the deeper appreciation for simple pleasures. Releasing rigid expectations and negative stereotypes about aging isn't about denying the realities of getting older. It's about refusing to be defined or limited by them. It's about recognizing that this stage of life offers its own unique opportunities for growth, connection, and happiness. By letting go of outdated ideas about what it means to be 65 plus, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and allow ourselves to live authentically and joyfully, embracing each day for what it is. Imagine feeling a sense of liberation from the pressure to act your age according to someone else's outdated definition. Imagine the energy you would gain by not fighting against an unrealistic standard, but instead flowing with the natural rhythms of your body and mind. Finding new ways to express yourself and stay engaged with the world. This shift in perspective can profoundly impact your mental health, reduce stress, and even motivate you to adopt healthier habits that support your actual physical capabilities. And this brings us to the fourth and final thing we need to consider letting go of after 65, something that often stems from the previous points and can be a significant drain on our energy and peace of mind. The fourth thing that often serves no purpose and can actively detract from our happiness and potentially even our longevity after 65 is excessive worry or the relentless need to control every outcome. A lifetime teaches us that much of life is unpredictable and outside of our direct control. Yet, for many, the habit of worrying about everything and everyone persists, sometimes even intensifies. As we get older, we worry about our health, the health of our loved ones, their safety, their financial well-being, the state of the world, future events, and a million other possibilities. Worry is the mind replaying potential negative scenarios. Often on repeat, it's different from productive concern, which leads to taking sensible precautions or planning. Worry, on the other hand, is often about hypothetical situations that may never occur, or about things we genuinely have no power to influence. It's purely an internal state of distress. Holding on to this need to control everything is exhausting. It creates anxiety, muscle tension, digestive issues, sleep disturbances, and a constant feeling of being on edge. After 65, our resilience to the physical effects of chronic stress might not be as robust as it once was. Spending our days consumed by worry is a direct drain on the vital energy we need for living, enjoying, and connecting. We've had decades to learn that we cannot force people to behave as we wish. We cannot prevent every possible negative event from occurring. and we cannot predict the future with certainty. Trying to do so through constant worrying or attempting to micromanage situations often involving adult children or grandchildren doesn't actually give us control. It just steals our peace. Letting go of excessive worry and the need for absolute control is perhaps one of the most challenging, yet most rewarding, releases at this stage of life. It requires a fundamental shift in perspective, a move towards acceptance of uncertainty, and a greater trust in the flow of life and in the capabilities of others. How do we begin to loosen the grip of worry and control first? Become an observer of your own thoughts. Notice when your mind starts spinning with what-ifs and negative predictions. Acknowledge the thought without getting caught up in the emotional whirlwind. You can even try saying silently, "Ah, there's the worry thought about X." This creates a little distance. Next, practice distinguishing between what you can control and what you cannot. You can control your own actions, your reactions, and how you choose to spend your time and energy. You cannot control the choices of others, the global economy, the weather, or past events. When a worry arises, ask yourself honestly, is there anything I can do about this right now? If the answer is yes, then take the practical step. Make a phone call, gather information, make a plan, and then consciously release the worry. If the answer is no, if it's outside your sphere of influence, then the worry serves no purpose other than causing you distress. At this point, you can practice letting it go. Techniques like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even just taking a few slow, conscious breaths when you feel worry rising can help calm the nervous system and interrupt the cycle of anxious thoughts. Engaging in activities that fully absorb your attention, like gardening, playing music, creating art, or spending time in nature, can also provide a much-needed respite from worry. Trust is a big part of this. Trusting that your adult children are capable of navigating their own lives, even if they do things differently than you would. Trusting your own resilience to handle whatever challenges may arise. Trusting that even in uncertainty, there can be opportunities for growth and unexpected beauty. Releasing the need to control doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It means directing your energy towards things you can influence: your own well-being, your relationships, your immediate environment, and pursuing activities that bring you joy and purpose. It means accepting that life unfolds and finding peace in riding the waves rather than trying to flatten them. Imagine the profound sense of freedom you would feel if you weren't constantly battling against the unpredictable nature of life. Imagine the energy you would reclaim if you weren't spending it all on hypothetical problems. Letting go of excessive worry and the need for control allows you to be fully present in your life, to appreciate the good moments, and to face challenges with greater calm and clarity. It is, perhaps, the ultimate act of self-care and a powerful pathway to greater happiness and potentially a longer, healthier life because you are reducing the corrosive effects of chronic stress. So, we've talked about letting go of the need for external validation, releasing past regrets and unfulfilled expectations, shedding unrealistic ideas about aging, and finally, loosening the grip of excessive worry and the need for control. These four things, the constant striving for approval, the burden of the past, the rigid expectations of aging, and the pervasive habit of worry, are like anchors weighing us down. Letting go of them isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous practice, a gentle unclasping of our grip. It's about making conscious choices, day by day, hour by hour, to release what no longer serves us and make space for what truly matters. It's about recognizing that this stage of life, far from being a time of winding down, can be a powerful time of liberation and self-discovery. It's a time to finally live life on your terms, guided by your own inner wisdom, unburdened by external pressures or internal baggage. Remember, small shifts in perspective and small changes in habit can lead to profound differences in how you feel and how you experience your life. You have the wisdom and the strength within you to begin this process of letting go. By doing so, you are not giving up. You are gaining something invaluable: greater peace, more energy, deeper joy, and the freedom to truly savor the years ahead. This journey of release makes you lighter, allowing you to move through the world with more grace and ease, which in turn supports not just your happiness, but your physical health as well. Reducing stress, living authentically, and focusing on the present are powerful contributors to well-being and, potentially, a longer, more fulfilling life. Perhaps one of these points resonated with you more than others. Or maybe you've already started letting go of some of these things. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. What have you found most challenging to let go of? What has helped you the most in this process? Please share your insights in the comments below. Your experiences could help someone else who is walking this path. If you found value in this conversation, please give this video a like. It helps more people see it. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel. We share regular content aimed at helping you live your best, most vibrant life at every age. Thank you for spending this time with us. Remember, the capacity for joy, peace, and growth doesn't diminish with age. It often deepens. Embrace the power of letting go and live your best life at every age.